Hey everybody, it's Mr. Greg here from the Kindergarten Smorgasbord. I am so excited to be here tonight with our amazing friend, Holly Ely. Hi, Holly.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, so good.
So we are so excited to talk tonight about Elevate Summer 2022, our virtual summer conference. We are going to get into this in a few minutes, but Holly's going to talk to us. She's going to give us a little sneak peek of her session, which is on the science of reading, which we are all beyond excited about. We're all so excited about the science of reading. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. I do want to tell everyone that you can register right now for a chance to win a free ticket to Elevate. So if you want to come to Elevate for free, click on the link in the description. We're going to drop the link right here in the comments as well. Click that link, and that's going to take you to the website. You'll see the giveaway right at the top of our website. Just go ahead and enter with your email address, and then at 8 o'clock, we'll pick a winner. And that person will win a free registration to Elevate. So head on over there now. The link is in the description. I'm going to drop the link in the comments as well. So there you go. So that is in the comments. So again, Holly, we're so excited to see you.
Hey, nice to see
y'all,
you.
Holly is the kindest person that you will ever meet. She is responsible for the spring teacher retreat that took place for many years in French Lick. And last year, she spearheaded the teacher road trip, which was a lot of fun when they came to Nashville. So Holly, how are you?
I'm so good. You know, busy teaching and, doing the mom thing and also working on my PhD. So pretty busy.
I don't know how people do it. So like people who are in school and working full time and have a kid, no. I honestly don't know how you do it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I even got my master's before I had kids. And then my kiddos now, I have my two oldest are twins, and they are sophomores finishing up their sophomore year at Purdue University. And my youngest is a junior in high school. So to be fair, he's driving himself. Like, it's a different stage of being a mom. So there's a lot more free time than there used to be for me. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's probably a lot different than having a toddler.
Oh, 100%. Like, I don't know how you do it, is what I should say, for sure.
Yeah, it's exhausting to be 43 and to have a 3-year-old running around the house.
Enjoy every minute because it goes so fast.
Oh, yeah. It does. And people said that to us all the time. And we were like, oh, what? Okay. But literally, she turned 3 on Easter Sunday. And it seems like just yesterday we were bringing her home on an airplane at 10 days old. And here we are with a teenager.
Agree. I mean, to me, that feels like yesterday because I remember every step of it. But oh my goodness. And every year goes faster. I hate to tell you that. But
Stop. And then everyone's like, oh, 2s are hard. And then everyone's like, no, 3s are hard. 4s are hard. I'm like, does it get easier?
You know, it's weird because I'm not sure if I would ever use the word easier. It just gets different. Like, as soon as you master one thing, of course, you move on to like something new. But my favorite part of life is being a parent. So enjoy every minute. I miss those little people. So
yeah. And she's so funny, and just like tonight we were at dinner, she's like, oh, you drive me bonkers. And we were like, you drive us bonkers. What are you talking about?
At that age, like every day they come up with like a new saying or a new word, right? Like I love that.
Yeah. And the things she talks about, I'm like, where did you learn that? Like yesterday she grabbed my whistle and blew it and said, out of pool, no diving. And I'm like, how do you what? Like, you've never been to a pool with a lifeguard. How do you know that that's what that's for?
Oh goodness.
Yeah. So I want to remind everybody, because we have more people joining, to head over to the website. I put the link in the comments, and you can get registered for your chance to win a free ticket to Elevate. And so all you have to do is enter, just click your email address. At 8 o'clock, we will choose a winner. for the giveaway, so make sure you do that. If you have questions about Elevate, drop those in the comments as well so we can answer those. I'm going to ask Holly about her school year in just a second, but I want to go ahead and tell everybody about Elevate. Elevate Summer 22. Let me try that again. Elevate Summer 2022 is an all virtual conference. It is all on demand, which means you have 90 days access starting June 1st through August 31st. So the beauty of this is that you can watch all of these sessions. There are more than 20 sessions from more than 20 presenters. There are 3 amazing keynotes. The beauty of this is that you can watch all of these sessions whenever you want, as much as you want. You can watch them, fast forward them, rewind. You can watch them multiple times all throughout that 90 days. So it's completely on demand. We have sessions on the science of reading, on phonics, reading comprehension, writing, technology, play in the classroom, science, social studies. We have it all covered for you this year with Elevate. 3 amazing keynotes from Gary Brooks, Lisa Dunnigan from the Right Stuff Chicks, and Mr. D, Joe Dombrowski. So the keynotes are going to have you laughing, crying, and they're going to inspire you and uplift you. And all of the presenters that we picked for Elevate were hand chosen by me and the Mister, because we wanted people that were, almost all of them are in the classroom. We wanted classroom teachers, but we also wanted people who inspire us, who uplift us, who make me a better person and make me a better teacher. And so that's why we chose the presenters that we picked. And so you're going to get a certificate for 30 contact hours. You're going to get tons of freebies. The Kindergarten Smorgasbord is giving you 5 complete free resources for your classroom. And so that alone is worth $50. So that's almost the cost of your registration. And I know almost all of the presenters have downloads. You're also going to be entered into a drawing for over $10,000 in prizes. So you're not going to want to miss this. It's going to be epic. We're excited about Elevate. So click the link, get registered, sign up for the giveaway. I see some of you saying it's not working. I'm pretty sure Jason's giving Adeline a bath. So I'm going to have Holly talk a little bit about how her school year's going, and I'm going to try to go over and fix the giveaway. So Holly, we know this year's been hard for everybody. So I'd love to hear a little bit about your school year.
Gosh, I'll have to say, I just feel super blessed and to be where I'm at. I work with the most amazing team in the entire world. Like my principal is absolutely phenomenal, 110% supportive, and we have a really just amazing team where we're all very different, but we all have our own strengths, and so there's like beauty in that diversity coming together. So overall, my school year really has been great. Of course, the last several years have been just, I don't even know what word to use, extremely challenging. But at the same time, I feel like these last 3 years of my professional life have probably stretched me to grow and learn the most that I ever have. Because just like all of you, we've done the virtual learning, we've been in person, we've been masked, we've been shielded, we've been teaching here in the class and at night going home and teaching on online. So this year has been a little bit more calm. We're pretty, much back to like normal-ish in regard to like restrictions at school. But what I have found is that the kiddos that we're working with, I feel like are coming to school with a little bit different experiences, because the last half of their life at kindergarten has just been different than it typically would. So, in kindergarten, every single day is different. It's always a challenge, but that is absolutely my favorite part about teaching kindergarten. I am not a person that just wants to do the same thing every day. And so, really overall, it's been a great year. Challenging, but I guess this year especially, because it's a little bit more like normal, I try not to let the little challenges get me down as much because I'm just so grateful that I can actually be with my little people in person, because teaching online was very, very difficult.
Yes, it was. And if I never have to do that again, I'll be happy.
I know. That's why I try not to complain.
Right. I'll take the challenges of this year over
Yes.
virtual teaching any day.
Yes, agreed.
I think, for so many of us, it's so hard because this year it has been so hard and so challenging. It can be easy to lose sight of the positives.
Yeah.
And, we talked about this on Sunday when we made our Sunday night post about there's just so much negativity on social media right now from teachers and about teaching. And it really can pull you down. And so, I get it. This is the hardest year of my career.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's hard. But there's also so much positive to find. And sometimes I know it's hard some days to find those positives, but we have to kind of hold on to that and look for those moments that really keep us going.
I'll have to say, I think the reason that this year for me has been like better is because I think the previous few years, especially, were so difficult that it was almost like I got pushed to a point where I had to do something different. Because you guys all in classrooms, you know what it was like. And if you weren't in a classroom through this, I'm sure you could imagine, but not you can't just describe it to someone who hasn't lived it. So Greg, and you and I, this is kind of where our relationship started years ago. We know how hard teaching is, and one of my lifelong passions is to give back to teachers and thank teachers, because I see how hard they work, and I see how teachers don't get appreciated and all of those things. So your focus on happy classrooms and supporting and lifting people up, and that is so important to me. So the last couple of years were so difficult. I feel like this year what I learned is that I needed to really make sure I knew where my focus was. And so there is a ton of negativity out there. And so one way that I tried to help myself is literally I had to unfollow, some people that were bringing that negativity in, because just at the time I couldn't deal with it all. And then really to find people that are like-minded in regard to it not being a competition, but lifting other people up actually lifts you up. It's not the opposite. It's you don't have to put people down to make to elevate yourself, but it's finding people that are, inspirational and positive, and can try to find those positive little glimmers in the middle of really big challenges. So I know sometimes that might be putting rose-colored glasses on, but sometimes when you're in the classroom, you do have to kind of limit your focus to try to focus on more positive things. Because if you look at all the negatives, there are a lot of them. So yeah.
The thing about it it's not ignoring the reality. We all we know the reality. And so, but it's also about acknowledging the reality, coming up with solutions and ways to help, and ways to work through some of those challenges. So, and I think one of those challenges, one of the things that I struggle with on social media right now is the science of reading.
Yeah.
Because there's so much bombardment right now with the science of reading people. And unfortunately, some of it comes across as very judgmental and very shaming.
Yes.
And so that's why I'm super excited about your session, because I know how much your passion is about the brain and learning and the science of reading. And we've talked about this a lot already. So I know how you are going to approach the science of reading. And so I'm excited. And I know everyone who's registering is super excited, because teachers always want to do better. We want to learn and grow and do better.
Yes.
And so I'm excited that you're going to bring the science of reading to us in a way that we will understand it, And I think more importantly, in a way that we can put it into use in our classroom on day one.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, and for those of you who like aren't really that familiar with me, I am a classroom teacher in the classroom full time. I've taught, oh my goodness, more years than I probably want to count, like 25 years in the classroom. And so many things have changed. When I started teaching kindergarten, it was the 2.5 hours in the morning, and then you had another class in the afternoon, and taught a few letters and sounds, and things were good. Things have changed. I was also trained in my undergrad, and also when I got my master's as a reading specialist in balanced literacy and guided reading and all of that. I went on for specialty training. I was a reading recovery teacher, and the fact of the matter is, I did what I was trained in, and what we knew at the time, what was available to us, like in our teacher training and all of that. And so what's happening now is that there's this big like trend now for everybody to learn more about the science of reading, and how are you teaching? If you're teaching this way, it's not the right way, and if you're teaching this way, everybody has their opinion. And we do have research now available that we didn't have a long time ago. There are several research studies that were available like 20 years ago, but they were kept kind of in the field of like cognitive neuroscience and psychology, and so they weren't really brought into practice. Definitely weren't brought into the universities. So now we have this situation where that research is coming over, and there's a lot of new research available. We can put kiddos in functional MRIs right now and watch their brain as they read. So science has actually determined pretty closely to exactly how your brain functions and how kids learn how to read. And so that's wonderful. And so what we have learned is that the way that a lot of us were trained doesn't exactly align with probably how kiddos' brains learn best. But what's happening is that some people are learning more, and then and kind of like turning on people that still maybe haven't learned all of this information, and doing it in a negative way. And that's the thing that like fires me up. Like with anything in life, we always want to keep getting better. And I have not met a teacher ever that has intended to do harm to their kids or not do their best. I mean, literally almost every teacher I've ever met is just, putting their hearts and souls into this. So, but there are people at different places and, learning about all of this. And so I think what needs to be at the forefront of this whole science of reading movement is that we should be here to uplift each other, to support each other, not to judge each other. When I learned about everything with the science of reading, well, first of all, when I started hearing about it, I was like, oh, no, that can't be right. No, and I pushed back for a while until I kept reading and reading and reading. And then I'm like, I can kind of see that. And I kind of opened my mind to it. And then, now I'm back in college. I'm working on my PhD in reading and with a specialization in educational neuroscience. So I'm learning all these things that I didn't know before. And I'm looking back at things I've done and thinking, oh my goodness, I had so much guilt because now I see more effective ways of teaching. And that's really hard for me to think, if I would have known this, I could have helped this kiddo. But you can't beat yourself up about it. And so I feel like some people, when they're starting to learn more about the science of reading, they feel like they're a failure. They feel we can't do that. Like we do the best we can. And when we learn more, like we try to do better. And not only for ourselves, but we need to take that same approach with other people. If people are open to learning more, we need to be encouraging and not like, and not judgmental at all. So what you will get with me is I came from probably a completely different background than the science of reading. 100%, reading recovery, balanced literacy, all of that. And I have, over the past 5 years, come to a totally different understanding and shifted my instruction a lot. And so I feel like I can understand where people are coming from, and we got to get rid of that judgment. And so that's my passion. My goal right now is really to help take that research and put it into practice in the classroom in ways that are super fun and engaging, because that's another passion of mine, is student engagement. Because a lot of people are learning enough about the science of reading that they're thinking, oh, that's just like intensive phonics, or get out the phonics workbooks. And that is not at all.
Right.
That is not at all what this is. So yeah.
So my experience with the science of reading is a little bit different, because when I started teaching 16, 17 years ago, that's what I learned.
Yes.
It wasn't called the science of reading.
Right.
But when I'm looking at the science of reading research, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. When I started in second grade, in my first couple of years in kindergarten, this is what we were doing. Yes. And yes, there's a lot more research now. And so but this is what I knew. And so, and then we made that switch to balanced literacy and guided reading, but I always kept that phonics piece in there. But now, just like you, I look back and I'm like, man, imagine if we'd been doing more of, right. When I think this is what gets me, is when I think back to how I taught my second graders to read those first couple of years, was way more effective.
Yeah.
And I think back to all the things that I did with them, I'm like, man, if I had been doing that with my kindergartners, like, how much better would it have been? And you're right, you get that guilt.
You do. I mean, right.
So, yeah. And so we're all learning, we're all growing, and we're all embracing the new things. And the thing is, no one. I would never sit here and say, like, you have to do it all right now. Like,
there's no way. You can't do that.
Yes. So give us a little sneak peek into your session on the science of reading. And you're doing one on sound walls, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I have to, like, the first session will be really kind of the foundational why. Like, why do we really need to consider the science of reading, and what is it? Because the science of reading is not a program. It's not like really an approach. What it is,
it's not a curriculum.
No, it's not. It is basically research. What has science shown us? What have we collected in terms of evidence from classrooms, from research in regard to how the brain learns, and then how can we take that and connect it, and what has research said about, like, the most effective ways to bring that into the classroom. And I think the biggest like aha thing for most teachers is that we used to think that when kids learned how to read, that somehow, like, kids would be looking at words and then kind of like store words or letters, even, like, by visual. Like, how many of us used to make flashcards and teach our kids those high frequency words with flashcards, because we were trying to, like, memorize them. Well, now what science has proven is that we don't store words, or letters for that matter, by, like, a visual image. The way that we store things in our brain are actually by sounds, by phonology. And if you think about this, it totally makes sense, because if you have a little kiddo, like, take Adeline, and you bring her home with you, and she just lives around you, she's going to learn how to talk. Because that is like pre-wired in your brain in a human being. Speech, sound, language is pre-wired. If you bring a kiddo, a baby home, and just, like, live around you, they will not naturally learn how to read, because the brain is not wired to read. It's wired for speech and language. Okay, so the way that the brain is set up, it actually stores things in memory by, like, sound and phoneme, not by these little squiggly forms that humans made up. That's not how it works. And so now what we have to learn how to do is think about that, and shift our instruction. Because I know, like in kindergarten, years ago, when I would want to teach kids letters and sounds, I would, write the letter A. This is an A. What does an A say? So you're starting out, and your first step with kids was to show them an abstract, like, form that means nothing to them. These sticks and circles, meaningless. It isn't like a picture of, their mom or dad or anything meaningful. It's just this black and white stick and whatever. That means nothing. And the other thing that we know from, neuroscience is that in order to make new learning stick, you have to connect it with something that's known. And so, we're starting with randomly showing kids these stick and circle forms that mean nothing to them. So right off the bat, it's really tough to stick in. And then we're giving them this form that means nothing. And then we're saying, oh, this letter makes the B sound. And they think not only are they learning a new form, but now they're learning, oh, it's this new sound. Okay. That is teaching from almost like an adult perspective. That's maybe how adults would think about it. If you go back to think about how little kids are and actually how the brain operates, the brain is naturally wired for language and sound. And so when you have a baby and bring that baby home, you're making sounds. One of the first things those babies do is, you can tell they're like almost looking at your face, and they're producing ba, 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 da, da, they're making those sounds. Their whole being is focused on sounds. Matter of fact, research has shown by the time infants are 1 year old, their brain has already solidified the phonemes or the sounds in your native language, and kind of like pruned off all of the neurons in their brain for like language sounds that aren't in their language. So little people's brains, it's all about sound. It's all about them mimicking, looking at your mouth, making those sounds, saying words that are slightly off, and then listening more, and fine tuning that, spaghetti for spaghetti, and all those things. And so when they come to us and they're 5 years old, you think about this, they are sound experts. And sometimes as adults, we forget that, because that's not how we operate. But
and that's not how we learn.
No, I mean, these little people are literally sound experts, better than we are. Like, they're thinking all the time about, how do you make that sound? Where is your tongue? How is air moving out? And even if that thought is, sometimes like kind of like unconscious to them, that's what they've been doing for the first 5 years in their life, is, learning to speak, doing all this. So they literally are sound experts. So what we need to do, and what the research says, is start with the sound. So now in my kindergarten classroom, when I'm, teaching letters and sounds, I start with a sound and say, oh, you guys are so smart. You are sound experts. And I talk to them about how they were babies and they've learned how to speak and all of this. And then I highlight a sound. So for instance, I might say, buh. Have you ever heard that sound before? Yeah. And then we talk about buh. And then, where do you hear that sound? Oh, in my name, Beckham. Or we talk about, just like you do with your anchor charts,
Right, with ABC Bootcamp. That's where ABC Bootcamp came from.
Yes.
That was why it was built the way it was built.
So you talk about all this stuff that they know. As soon as you do that, you prime their brain for learning. That little peg inside their brain is ready to go. You just like literally activated neurons in their brain. And then when you highlight that, that's when I talk about, like, how is that sound, made? Like, what are your lips doing? The kids are amazing. As an adult, I have to think, okay, where's my tongue? What's happening? They are so good at it, because that's what they've been doing for the last 5 years. So like in my classroom, I have little like mirrors here that we look at our mouths and we say, okay, what is your tongue doing? What is, is it the top of your mouth? Is it here? How is the air moving? All of that. And then after we study that sound, then we say, okay, I'm going to teach you how to spell that sound. And then I show them the form of, let's just say B, and I'm like, this is how you spell B. And they already know "buh." It's already there. So as soon as you put that form that really doesn't mean that much to them, you connect it to something that's known, boom. I mean, it is amazing the difference. You start with what's known and you connect the letter. So then, like in my classroom, then of course we do handwriting, because the more motor skills, the more senses that you connect.
And the different modalities and the different,
it solidifies that, that connection. And then like behind me, I'm in my classroom now, but we have our sound wall. It's so natural to them because, they're sound experts, like consonants and vowels. I wasn't taught exactly what those were. I taught that these are the consonant letters and these are, the vowel letters, but consonants and vowels really aren't letters, they're sounds. So like consonants are the sounds, the phonemes you produce where something in your mouth blocks the air, whether it's your lips, b, or, your tongue, d, or whatever. The vowels are sounds that come out and the air isn't blocked. And, they're continuous. So like, ah, eh, the air is just, that's what a consonant and a vowel is. Seriously. Like I was mind blown the first time I read that. Like that totally makes sense. It makes sense so well to kids. I can do any sound and say, is it a consonant and vowel? They'll think about how it's produced. Consonant. Why? Oh, because I had to block the air with my tongue when it came out. And so that's how we study letters. We go sound, connect the new form to known learning, talk about the articulation, which, by the way, if you have speech kiddos, helps tremendously. And then, like, I have a sound wall at the beginning of the year. All of the sounds up here are covered with paper. Like you can see one that's covered in blue. And so we'll come back to the sound wall and we'll say, okay, make that sound. If we're studying like buh, buh, what are your lips doing? Buh, buh. Okay, your lips are together. And then like on my sound wall, we have families. And up here, we would try to reveal where is the sound hiding, because they're all covered. Buh, buh. What is your mouth doing? Oh, it's lips together. Okay, it must be in this family then. And we find the family. And then we're like, how is the air moving? And then on the side, I don't know if you can see it over here. Mm-hmm. On the side over there is how the air like flows out of your mouth. So we're like, okay, we know that your lips are together when you start. And then does the air puff out? Are you pushing it through your nose? We talk about all that. And so like we're trying to be detectives. Okay, where could the sound be? And we talk about the articulation of it. And then we have a big countdown, of course, like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And then we have somebody rip it off and we're like, ah! And then up here we have the sound, what the mouth looks like, and then how you spell it. And then we also have a key word with it because that brings meaning to it as well. And so, game changer, starting from sound, how your brain learns, and connecting it to the letters. It will blow you away. The difference that we see in our kids, amazing. And so, that's where it starts for us. And then we continue to, build on all of those skills. And I will have to say, I have never in my career ever had kids reading at the levels that we do now. And I'm talking, I obviously can't go into it all now, but, based on the science of reading, if you do instruction this way, you can reach even pretty severely dyslexic kids as well. And that part has been like phenomenal for me. Having kids that have been in our preschool for, several years and came into kindergarten, did not know one letter, even in their name, didn't know sounds. And then using this approach with them. And then by the end of second grade, they're on grade level. it's other people don't know, but as teachers, we know that just changed their life. So,
and it's the same for me with, 95% of my kids are EL.
Yes.
And, the whole time you're talking about that, that's where ABC Boot Camp and TKS Boot Camp came from. It was built on that because that was my background, was that the science of reading from so long ago. And so that's why boot camp was built the way it was built. And of course, we're continuously improving that as well. Right. But with my EL kids, the same thing. Like the more we've pulled in the science of reading over the last year or two, because our district actually started making the shift away from balanced literacy about 3 or 4 years ago. So we had started this, but the more we've moved towards more phonics, more science of reading, more all of that, that my EL kids have just, like, their reading and writing has just exploded.
Oh yeah.
So I have to say, I've been watching the comments while you're talking, and people are going crazy for you and for all of this information. So y'all listen. If you're excited about what Holly just talked about, y'all have to register for Elevate, because she's going to do 2 entire sessions on the science of reading and sound walls, the research, how to bring it into your classroom. And Holly, if you don't follow Holly on social media, you need to do that, because she does amazing room transformations and she is all about engagement. So when she's going to teach us how to bring the science of reading into the classroom, it's going to be fun. Yes. It's not going to be a worksheet and a book and a workbook. It is going to be highly engaging for your kids, highly engaging for us as we're watching her. So everybody in here, I know you all have been so excited about this. So get registered for Elevate. I'm going to put the link in the comments again so you can get registered. So you can watch our sessions. We have Jake Daggett doing a session on phonics and movement, and I chatted with him the other day. If you've seen together,
absolutely.
Right, the singing and the movement is
and he's phenomenal. If you don't follow him,
yes, he is.
Follow him. So
last week was the first time I really had gotten to talk to him face to face, virtually, obviously, but like the whole time I'm just like, wow, it's amazing. So, and then combined with more than 30 other sessions, y'all, you're not going to want to miss this. And here's what happens every year. We close registration, the conference kicks off, and people start talking about it, and we get bombarded with people wanting to register. So just go ahead, do yourselves a favor, get registered before June 1st so you don't miss out on any of this. Holly, clearly you have people ready to learn about the science of reading, so thank you for that. Now, real quick, I'll recap what Elevate is. So Elevate Summer 2022 is our virtual on-demand conference. It kicks off on June 1st. You have 90 days access from June 1st through August 31st. What that means for you is that you have 90 days unlimited access to all of the content. So you can watch the sessions in your pajamas, in your bed, by the pool, having an adult beverage, at 3 a.m. in the morning, whatever. You can watch them. You can rewind, you can fast forward, you can watch them multiple times. And I think that's the beauty. Yes, we would all love to be in person. But I think the beauty of virtual conferences is that there's so much learning that comes at us at conferences. With the virtual, you get to control that. You can rewind, you can fast forward, you can be like, oh wait, I want to go back and re-listen to that. So I think it's so much more beneficial because you can really take in a lot more of the knowledge. So that's the benefit of 90 days of on-demand access. You also are going to get exclusive freebies and downloads from all of the presenters. The Kindergarten Smorgasbord is giving you 5 complete products from our store. So right there, you're looking at $50 value. You have 90 days access, so you have all summer to watch it. You get a certificate for 30 contact hours that you can submit to your district or your school or whatever. We have over $10,000 in prizes that we're giving away. You're going to get exclusive discounts, and so tons and tons of content that you can take back into your classroom immediately. So get registered for Elevate Summer 2022. We've been dropping the links in the comments, so do that. Holly, people are asking where they can find you on social media.
Okay, yeah, it's a little tricky. I started a new page called The Science of Literacy Learning that really just focuses on literacy learning. The science of reading, but that also incorporates like writing and vocabulary and all of that stuff. So you can find me on Instagram, The Science of Literacy Learning, and then also like on Facebook. And I did that specifically because there are some people that don't just want that content. And so I kind of specialize that. And that's kind of like a newer like page for me. One thing I want to kind of highlight about that that page is that, you know, you can go on social media and find a ton of information about the science of reading, especially from awesome like literacy specialists and things like that. But typically those are people who are like working one-on-one with kids, or just like in pullout or things like that, which they have a lot of great information to offer. They really do. But what I found was very difficult is, how do I take that information and use it in my whole classroom? And there are really very few people that are out there to share in the in your whole classroom. And y'all, it is hard enough to keep up with everything we have going on in our rooms. And so the easier we can make it for classroom teachers, like that is my purpose. And so, by the way, if anybody ever has any questions, feel free to ask me. Like I said, no judgment. I have been there. So that's that page. But then kind of on the flip side, one of my other passions is like student engagement. And so everything else, like educationally, I share on my Instagram, which is Holly Ehle. So that's HOLLYEHLE. And then like in our school, like every Friday we have like a fun Friday where we flip our classrooms into like Jurassic Park to learn about, you know, rocks, or Frozen to learn about states of matter and all of that stuff. So that kind of engagement stuff is kind of on my other account, but if you look up one of them, you can find the other one. So and
we will share her. We will make sure that we post that on our social media as well, so you can go follow her. So again, head over to the website. We're dropping the links in the comments. I know Holly will be sharing the links on her social media.
Yep.
And Holly, you could probably, if you want to share this video, you can probably share it to your
sure. Yeah.
So get registered for Elevate Summer 2022. You do not want to miss this. Holly's sessions are going to be phenomenal. We have, there's also, let me throw this out there as well, because we're talking so much about the science of reading. There's also an optional add-on that's all about phonics. And so when you go to register, it will give you the option to add on Elevate Phonics, which is a separate event. It's a $30 fee. And you're going to get 5 or 6 additional sessions. The Secret Stories by Katie Garner. And then I do ABC Bootcamp, TKS Bootcamp, and Sight Words, and how those all tie in with the science of reading. So you've got a ton of options and a ton of content coming your way. So get registered. Don't miss out, because you don't want to be the person emailing us on June 4th wanting to register. So head over to click the links, get registered. Go follow Holly on social media. You won't regret it. She's an amazing teacher. She's an even more amazing person. We love Holly and all that she does for teachers. And so we're so excited to have her as part of Elevate. So Holly, thank you for joining us, taking time out of your busy life. Because, you know, not that you don't have anything
midnight, so I got to go home and write my doctoral paper before midnight. So.
Oh, God. Well, yes, then we definitely need to let you go so you can go home and write. So thank you to everyone who joined us. Get registered for Elevate Summer 2022 so you can learn from the science of reading from Holly, and you can learn amazing content from more than 30 other presenters, or through 30 other sessions, 3 amazing keynotes that will make you laugh and cry and will uplift you and encourage you. We are so excited to have you join us for Elevate Summer 2022. So get registered. Holly, go write your paper. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon.
I wanted to say one thing, because I'm always knee deep in research. Like, I try not to put too much of that out there. But one of the things that I recently found, Greg, I don't know if I think I shared this with you, is that research has shown that when you talk to teachers, actually the professional development that they learn the most from are virtual sessions like this, because they can go back and, you know, look at them and like learn more and more and more. So this is the best way to learn. And I have worked with so many of the presenters. I can't say enough. Like, so many of them have, you know, presented for us at the spring teacher retreat. And I know all 3 keynotes. Like, it's mind blowing, literally. Best money you will ever spend.
Absolutely. Yeah. We can't wait. I'm excited. Like, and I've seen sneak peeks of several of the sessions, and they're good. They're really good. Even just in the sneak peeks that I've seen, I'm like, I'm going to do that. So I've already learned a bunch just from what little bit I've seen. So you're going to want to join us. You do not want to miss this. It's going to be amazing. Holly, we love you. Thank you so much for everything you do for teachers. We can't wait to see you soon. So everybody, get registered. We'll see you all soon. Have a great rest of the week. Thank you, teachers. Thank you for everything that you do for your students, for our profession. Hang in there. And if you need anything, reach out to us. We're here to help. Get registered for Elevate Summer 2022, and we will see you all soon. Bye, everybody.